Imagine buying your kid a toy only to find the batteries aren't included, or buying furniture but it's missing the tools to build it. Frustrating, right? Now imagine that exact same feeling, but you're paying way more. That is what buying business software usually feels like: fragmented, disconnected, and incredibly expensive. Odoo completely changes that. Odoo is a complete, fully integrated business suite where all your apps actually talk to each other. We're talking automated lead routing for your sales team, seamless AI integration, and an intuitive point-and-click website builder. It's everything your business needs to scale, saving you time, headaches, and money. Stop piecing your software together. Go to odoo.com. That's odoo.com to learn more.
This is Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque. 17 years on air and online, helping you succeed in buying, selling, and investing in property. The best real estate strategies out there, just for you.
Welcome to Real Estate This Week. Hi again, I'm Stephen Gasque, and I'm delighted you're here as we look at what's happening in real estate right now and what it means to you. Cutting-edge information from the 26 Midyear Housing Forecast from John L. Scott Real Estate, which has more than 100 offices in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California, and also over 3,000 broker associates. Joining us now is Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John L. Scott Real Estate, a family-owned company that this year celebrates its 95th anniversary. Lennox, welcome to Real Estate This Week.
Well, thank you, Steve, and it's always a joy to be together with you. And I just appreciate you keeping the conversation alive and about education, what's taking place in the real estate industry.
Well, thank you, Lennox. That means a lot to me. And let me just point out that John L. Scott Real Estate looks at all the data of every real estate market for buyers, sellers, and investors every single day. And right now, I'd like to talk about the compilation of that data in your 26 Midyear Housing Forecast. 5 key concepts for today's housing market. And I'd like to begin with asking you about number 1, AI voice-activated home searches. Lennox, tell me, has AI really become a big part of real estate?
We call it now the AI everything world. Everything is going to be AI infused. And we are just proud to offer this on the front page of our website, johnlscott.com. And each of our broker associates, our 3,000 broker associates, they have it on the front page of their website. And what AI home search does, I came up with a phrase: what you ask is what you see. And it's going to be a whole new dynamics of search. It's just going to show you the nuances that you want in a property. And right now, MLSs might have 50 items that you can put in your listing input form for showing a home online. In the future, it's going to need to be supersized with AI parameters. For example, is there a fenced backyard for a pet? That's an AI search item that may not be evident on most listings as they come up in the MLS. But this is a transition of AI-infused search parameters. So when you do your voice-activated AI, it will bring those properties up with those nuances that you're looking for.
Oh, Lennox, this is wonderful because, as we know, searching for data on real estate can be complicated, but if you can just form it into a question, you can get your answers.
Well, you sure can. And we know search is just one of the 13 items when you're trying to purchase a home. But it is one of those items that our buyers have energy for. They have so much energy. They're looking every day. They're seeing what's new is coming on. They're going to open houses because you can just ask in the future AI, I want to see all homes that are open today. So they can just tour the neighborhoods. Steve, one thing we found out through our research is that 80% of buyers already know the selected area they want to live in. They used to live there. They currently live there. They know someone that lives there. They perceive they want to live there because it's close to family and friends and work and everything. And so that's why online search has been so valuable, and open houses for that matter, because people know the area they want to go to, and now they can express themselves more with the nuances that really would attract them to a particular property.
Lennox, that is wonderful. And one last question about the AI. When I go to a John L. Scott open house, will I soon see a 6-foot computer display with an AI character on it, or will it still be a live real estate agent?
Well, definitely it'll be a live real estate broker associate. And our value add is consultation, personal representation, and negotiations. Those are our three primary value add that we focus on for individual clients. We partner with our individual client, whether it be a buyer or a seller, as their personal representative. For buyers, is to help them buy the right home at the right price. Even though they may see the home on the internet, is it at the right price and really the right home for them of what they've consulted with us about? And with sellers, we partner with our sellers as their personal representative to showcase their home in the best light to get the best price.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So nothing has changed in our industry. It's just the speed and the customization for that individual person.
And now, Lennox, you and I have talked many times, and sometimes the market in your area is considered to be surge, frenzy, extreme frenzy in terms of sales. What is it now and why?
Well, we have a sales activity intensity indicator, a trademark item to John L. Scott Real Estate, where we measure the market based on the percentage of homes that go under contract within the first 30 days. Because your best chance to sell homes is the first 30 days on the market. Best chance to sell at the highest price. Because it's all about the backlog of buyers waiting for that next property to come on the market. Now, when, of course, back during the COVID timeframe, when we had 3% mortgages, we were at extreme frenzy. And I had to come up with a new category called Uber frenzy. It was so homes were selling over the weekend. Well, we've settled back down to more of a normal historical market, where the month supply are now in the 2 to 3 month supply, and maybe in the outlining areas, the upper ends more towards 4 months and a little bit higher. So buyers do have a greater selection, the buyers that are in the marketplace. So two things here. Lawrence Yun, the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors, I asked them the question. I said, how many transactions nationally for existing homes were there on a yearly basis before COVID? And the average was around 5.3 million a year. Well, this last 4 years, we're at 4 million transactions, 25% fewer transactions taking place nationwide. Now, part of that is there's just less supply coming on. But the other item is with the higher interest rates than 3%, there's been an adjustment into the market because homes appreciated so much during those low interest rates market and job growth markets. They appreciated so much that now with higher rates, the monthly payments are definitely higher than where they were just a couple years ago.
And Lennox, next on your list of the 26 mid-year housing forecast explains some of the reasons for today's market. Can you tell us those?
Yes. So job growth is the number one key indicator to a strong housing market. And for many, many, many years, we had very strong and almost extremely strong job growth, especially during those 3% mortgage rates. And the economy is really going, lots of building going on, lots of commercial activity, everything taking place. Well, the last 2 years, job growth has come down to basically flat in many of the Northwest real estate markets. We're in the markets of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and just over the border into the Siskiyous of California. So job growth has gone flat. So instead of it being a 3% job growth every year, we're now at basically no job growth. And so we need to absorb that. The next indicator, of course, is interest rates. And interest rates to me are just a kicker one way or another. Right now, interest rates are elevated from where they were a couple years ago. They're probably right where they normally would be, but it's just the transition of going from 3% now into the mid sixes for that. And what I'm hearing from forecasters and economists is that interest rates will stay close to where they are for longer. So there's not going to be much relief on interest rates. So then it comes down to motivation of the buyer or the seller for that. And then the last item, of course, is people staying in their home longer because they have those 3% mortgages. Or if they do need to move, maybe their current home is their first rental property because they have positive cash flow by having such a low interest rate on that. So those are three indicators that are affecting the market today.
Oh, that's so interesting, Lennox. And looking at 2026 as a whole, you also look at the yearly housing cycle. And I see on your chart that the pre-summer market is the busiest, and right now we're beginning the slope down towards fall and winter. Tell us about that.
Well, we call it the 6 seasons to the yearly housing cycle. Real estate is so predictable, the pattern of sales activity when properties come on the market, and that's a key indicator to more buyers in the marketplace because it's okay to buy and sell no matter what's going on in the marketplace because you're basically sitting with same net seller asset equity because you buy and sell within the same market conditions for that. Right now, we're in the summer market, midsummer there, the month of August. We're going to be heading into the fall, which is September, October, and then the winter. So let's talk about right now where we call this the peak season. It's about 8 months from March 1st through the end of October. That's when there's more homes coming on the market, more buyers in the marketplace, and then we go through the winter. September is the high point of unsold inventory. So we're just a month away from the high point of unsold inventory. And then just 4 months after that, January 1st, we'll be at the low point of unsold inventory. And then buyers come out of the woodwork after the holidays, very little unsold inventory, very few homes come on the market. And that's when we'll see a boost in activity, particularly in the mid-price ranges. Right after the first year is always when we get a little bit of a price boost in a normal market, and that will mainly take place in those mid-price points within each market area.
I see. And Lennox, I know that the reason that you put together all this data is to help people who want to sell their homes and who want to buy homes. So the last point of your 2026 mid-year housing forecast is what's important to you?
Well, we try to look at this for both sellers and for buyers. Let's talk about sellers first. It really comes down to in the market now because there's more unsold inventory. There's dispersed buyer energy over more inventory. So you need to position yourself as a seller to be one of the next homes to go under contract. And we have a expression on that called Market Ready Day One. Our job is to help consult our sellers and to look at their seller peer group. And those are the other homes on the market that buyers would also look at in that geographical area and price range. So how are they positioned in price and condition? And we have this concept of the 5 rights to make a sale: house right, yard right, price right, marketing right, and then of course the right representation, the right listing broker to negotiate and showcase your home and network with the other brokers out there. So when we do market a seller's home, it's all about the launch, having the house ready that first day, because your first 2 weeks on the market, 3 weeks, is your best time to sell a home because of the backlog of buyers waiting for that property. So it's the consultation with them. Then on the other side, buyer consultation. Again, it's worth it to a buyer, even though they see a home on the internet, and now with voice-activated home search, they see a home they're very interested in, and then they say those magic words, "I want to see inside the house." Well, that just is getting them to a certain point. And then it's negotiating. And right now, with more inventory on the market, we have a concept that maybe the list price is just the asking price. So we're now recommending for buyers that they get a buyer competitive market price analysis. And that is, what's the current market price? Because it's not from what it was in the spring. Now there's more dispersed buyer energy, so it's not as intense of a market. There's a little bit more month supply. So it's the buyer representative doing a market analysis on the price so that they can negotiate with that listing broker who's representing that seller to find out what the right price is. For sellers, it really is going to come down to motivation. Do they need to sell or do they want to sell? They need to sell if they have the financial capabilities within the price to get to the market price. They can get their home sold in today's market. They're more motivated. The want to sell, it really is going to come down to where are they going to and what's their timing, what's their reason for moving. But also we looking at their destination market. What's going on in the destination market of where they're moving to? Is that a healthy market or is it a surge market? Probably it's a healthy market, just like their current one here. And so then they can buy right there and then sell right here and get into motion, be able to move forward with what their dreams and plans are for the next phase of their life.
Interesting. And so, Lennox, let me run by you an old real estate saying, which is, it's better to buy real estate and wait than to wait to buy real estate. So tell me, is this a good time to buy a house in your area and across the country?
Well, everybody gets a house right now because there's enough inventory on it. You might be in the second look market, looking at homes that have been on for a little bit and do your price analysis to find out what their current market price is for that property. Or you're going to be looking at a home that just came on the market, and you might be one of the few bringing an offer in, so you can get your contingency clauses in there and inspections, evaluating the property. You still want to be fully underwritten ahead of time because that creates certainty for that seller to accept your offer at market price or what you want to bring your offer in at. So it is a good time. There's selection, availability, and the sellers understand the current market conditions have changed from where they were just a couple years ago. So it's a more balanced market.
And another real estate saying, this one for sellers. The goal is to sell your house in the minimum time for the maximum profit. With that in mind, is this a good time to sell your home?
It sure is. If you have the motivation to sell and buy right where you're moving to and sell right here, you're going to be the one in motion. And why would you wait down the road? The forecasts are for interest rates to stay currently where they are. So there's not an advantage to wait on that. You know the current situation. You can get your home sold today. Homes are selling. So there's no holdback in wanting to move forward in today's market.
And one last question for you, Lennox. What do you see coming down the road in late 2026 and 2027?
Well, I'm feeling like they're going to get the situation figured out in the Middle East. Oil prices will come down. That will lower down inflation, so we'll come back off some of those items. The economy's moving, and it'll show up in better numbers once the inflation comes down and the public will feel what's happening. And Steve, we saw this in reverse on the other side. When the tariff talk happened, we had a great 2 months before the tariff talk, and that took some of the momentum out of the marketplace. Same on the government shutdown, same on the Iran conflict that we're currently involved with. But once they get complete, the market rebuilds its momentum, and that's what's going to take place coming up ahead. We're very excited, very bullish on the residential market, and it's just reformulating, setting a new basis to go forward from here.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. And Lennox, I really want to thank you for being on the show today and explaining John L. Scott Real Estate's 26 Midyear Housing Forecast. Great information.
Well, thank you, Steve, and all the very best to you in the months to come.
Thanks, you too. Lennox Scott, Chairman and CEO of John L. Scott Real Estate, a family-owned company that this year celebrates its 95th anniversary. John L. Scott Real Estate has more than 100 offices in the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and California, and also over 3,000 broker associates. Next time on Real Estate This Week, short sales are up, really up. We'll get the facts and look at what to do if you need a short sale. That's next on Real Estate This Week. And until then, I'm Stephen Gasque, and thank you for listening.
A brand new episode of Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque drops every weekend, everywhere. And you're invited to listen, subscribe, and follow us. Just look for Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque. The best real estate strategies out there, just for you.